Hello and welcome to the 6th video of our Animating with Spine series. The animation principle we will be looking at today is called arcs. This is an extremely important principle that you will be using in almost every animation you make. You should be conscious of the arcs you use while posing your characters, and then double check them when your animation is complete. Most actions naturally follow arcs as the elements of the object or character move, such as arms and legs swinging while walking. A hit or a throw could be on a completely straight line, but the beginning of the action came sweeping in on an arc. Robots and other kinds of mechanical constructions are some of the few objects where it makes sense to animate them using straight, angular movements. So, if you want your character to dance like a robot, move him in a linear fashion. Just about everything else in the world moves along some form of a curved path, known as an arc. You must use arcs in your animation to achieve natural and realistic motion. For example, let's look at a basic bouncing ball animation with 3 key poses. If the keys use linear interpolation, it looks very mechanical and unrealistic. The ball needs to follow an arc, and we need to consider the slow in and out caused by gravity. In the graph view, this is easy to achieve by keeping the X movement constant and changing the Y movement to slow out and fast in, then fast out and slow in. This gives the ball an arc. Let's look at the more complex motion of throwing a ball. Almost every part of the character is moving in an arc, from the head turn to the hips, arms and legs. Obviously, some things do move in a straight line, like the ball after it's being thrown, but if you zoomed out enough, the ball would move in an arc eventually too. Usually, the faster the motion, the straighter the arc. Straight lines give power. The human eye is attracted to arcs. Figure 8 has been proven to be the most attractive arc to the human eye, and any partial variation of figure 8 is equally as effective. The arc is already so ingrained in our minds through nature that we can predict where the arc will end up. Your audience understands ahead of time through instinct where the arc is going to go. A movement that deviates from these arcs will stand out and look unnatural. Inspecting your arcs is a great way to find any issues in your movements. As always, when animating, you also need to know when to break the rules. If all the movements follow arcs, an animation may look smooth and natural, but fail to draw attention to the important parts. By breaking the smooth arc at just the right time, you can add realistic details to the movement and steer the focus of the animation. This leads us to a new exercise. This time, we will animate a ball with a tail. The tail makes the exercise more interesting by showing how the arc of the main action affects the other parts of the character. Arcs apply to all the parts of your character. First, like every animation, I will start with the basic key poses. I know I want my ball to jump a few times before coming to the stairs, jump up the stairs, then roll down and stop. I won't touch the tail for now. I'll concentrate only on the ball keys to find the timing and spacing that feels good to me. Once I have pretty good timing for the ball's keys, I change the curves to Bezier and adjust them to get good spacing. Sometimes I will adjust the timing a little bit. I repeatedly play the animation and make adjustments by using the play forward reset hotkey to play, then reset back to the frame I started on. Next, I use ghosting to ensure that the ball moves using smooth arcs. After I'm done with the movement of the ball, I add squash and stretch keys. This requires adjusting the timing a little bit. Finally, the last pass is for the tail animation. The important part of this exercise is how the tail follows the ball's arc. All overlapping elements such as hair, cloth, or a tail will follow the driver of the action. A tail is slightly different because it can also move on its own, meaning it can move to convey the emotion of a creature or be used for balance, or even be used as an extra limb. So just be aware that tails in general can break out of an arc, while cloth and hair cannot. The key to making cloth, hair and other hanging parts of a character look good is for them to follow the same arc as the part of the character that they are attached to. In this example, I use ghosting to see the arc of the torso, then I adjust the cape to follow the torso's arc. Back to the tail. Notice that I also use the wave principle for the tail shapes. Very often, an overlapping object will follow the wave principle and the tip of the object will follow an arc. Now that I have the rough tail done, I will polish the animation. I usually have an extra bone with a little circle image attachment in my scene. I can use this to block out the animation, as in the previous video where I first animated the ball, then transferred that animation onto a character. Other times, I use the circle to check the arcs of individual bones. I place it on the top of the tail and start polishing the tail. The tricky part is where the ball rolls down the ramp. Here, the main driver of the action, the ball, moves in a straight line, while the tail rotates around it. While arcs are extremely important, sometimes characters or their parts do need to move in a straight line. Be sure to take the character's action into consideration when deciding how they will move. Analyzing your arcs is essential to making a good animation look great. They don't influence the strong performance poses much, but they are an indispensable element of good motion. You should definitely get in the habit of always checking your arcs. Have fun and happy animating!